Lucas, damn, I'm glad y'all set it off. Better get that first order, helmet off. First you was down with the Ray, and now you going hard after TLJ. Nothing but a clown. Digging up your phantom from the lost and found. Look at the big helmet switch. When you get called out, you lie like a bitch. Siding with the Shills and they talking points. Going to the same T-girl, exotic joints. If we graded Star Wars, grad using letters, you be known as a Zeta. Remember the time when your posts exploded? Talking Disney Star Wars, you got community noted. Refusing to tag like a coward, ducking me like that little bastard Howard. Taking your thumbnail on the PC path, excluding the Grizz and Melvin like it'll save you from the rad. Trying to cherry pick targets in the GK. Epic failing, you'll continue just to be gay. All for one and one for all, while Script Trooper rides Abrams balls. DSW doesn't taste great, but to you it's less filling. You're getting conned by a Script Trooper and his vast shilling. Despite your name, you're going off script, but your political posts are dead like a crip. Going for the whack job conspiracy angle, showing your true stripes are like a bango. Looking like a tard with your rage bait shit takes. For your boyfriends, you wanna straight up split cakes. Like that SJW Lucky Kennedy, virgin loser who fucks imaginary entity. A get along gang of Star Wars illiterates, basing your success in life off the most Twitter hits. You got a big fat mouse in your pocket. Me and my girlfriend Anna, we just wanna talk it. The humiliation you're getting, I know in the Lord. You gotta be tired of that ass being so sore, but who knows? Knowing you're ready and willing, you're getting conned by a Script Trooper and his vast shilling.
USA. A lot of people make jokes about spacing somebody, about shoving somebody out an airlock. I don't think it's funny.
Fighting out of Anytown, USA, by way of Stockton, California. He is the culture war realist, rational individualist, the alpha with nostalgia. He's the hierarchy dominator, the USA crusader. He is the chief executive spacer.
Yo, you think you got enough names? Patience, Daddy. Almost done.
He is the man behind the United Spacers Alliance. Yeah! And I know the Lord of the Core. I storage in the origin. I know the record like a tech nerd. I got the hot takes for the bot fakes, and most importantly, I am never a victim. Once again, guys, welcome to the premier channel when it comes to the history of the franchise and the lore of Star Wars, and many other properties, franchises, universes, and whatever else you want to call them. Share the link out there on all platforms. Let's get the chat full. We've had a bit of a hiatus for many reasons, but we're back, at least for tonight, at least for this week, and we'll see where things go from here. But lots going on, and we had to go live to talk about it. We just had to. Let's see whom we have with us in the chat tonight. It's really weird because the names are coming in again as usernames. I thought I had changed this setting. It must have reverted back. Spacing Waiting Room, thanks for being here. JS Peña is on the Rumble side. Tehalim 29's here. Justin, the Star Wars Marvel purist, is over there holding it down on the Rumble side. Jordan Francais is over there on the Rumble side as well. And if you guys don't have one, please set up Rumble accounts and join Rumble and follow all of our channels. It's called following over there. And if you subscribe to a channel, it goes above and beyond that. So Justin and I are definitely getting followers and subs over there. We need as many as possible. We need to spread the love a little bit. Edwin Vasquez is with us. Gordon McDonald's here. And guys, like lots of weird things going on with USA, with the channel. I'm getting more views on Star Wars and politics, and they scrubbed 40 subscribers a couple of weeks ago. It was weird. Every day, 15 are gone, 10 are gone for 4 days straight. I was going to hit 2,800, and they just scrubbed about 40 subs. So make sure that you're still subscribed to USA on all your accounts. Lime Man 2014 is here. Script Pooper. Moho Ho is here. Oh, good. Thanks to Mr. Grizzy for the shout out and for the raid. Appreciate that. Gatekeepers Alliance in the house. There he is right there, the man himself. I've got to get this fixed to where like the display names are showing because this just looks weird. Mr. Grizzy 1989. It should just be Mr. Grizzy. And it's on the YouTube side that's doing that. It's not the streaming software because I'm looking over here in studio and I see all the ats and then the account names. I think this is Mike Gossius. I think that's who that is. That username. And I agree. Space him. Darth Pyrus. Yeah, Chant Tim and USA for sure. Decrepit's here. Andy is here. Den of Zero. Yeah, Den of Zeros. Melissa Lord, first ever member of the channel in the house. Thanks for being here, guys. Gabriel Knight in the house. Den of Dick Sucking. And you know, shout out to Gabriel Knight and King Chris and many other people for helping out with all our channels. So in the disc wrap there, the scenes that we created around Script Trooper were created by Gabriel Knight. And it's okay to give him credit. I made sure some people want to do stuff in anonymity, but he was fine with that. So thank you very much. SWA is here. Den of Snorts. And we're going to kind of talk about Josh later, but not in the sense that everyone else is. So we'll get into that. Blue-Eyed Scorpio's here. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Remember that guy, Blue-Eyed Scorpio? And in fact, I think his name was Tim. And he looked like Kylo Ren, and he was always trying to get on people's streams. Remember that guy? What happened to that guy? His name was Tim. I can't remember the name of his channel or any of that stuff. But he tried to do the whole Kylo Ren cosplay, but then he tried to be anti-Disney at the same time. So, you know, he fit in really well with the Phantom Menace. Let's see. Scrolling through here. John Gets Gaming in the house. KF4K, say something! Glad you guys liked the song, it looked like. I wrote all the lyrics myself. OG Star Wars top tier member of the channel's here. Steezo for life. In addition to Gabriel Knight. Super member. Speaking of Gabriel Knight, $9.99 super chat. Never trust a Canuck. Yeah, they don't say ZA, they say Z. Just like in England, they say Z, they don't say Z. I learned that when I went to Canada in 2009. I was doing a thing up there and someone was reading something off to me and they're like this letters Z, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'd never heard the letter Z referred to as Z in my life. It's part of what happened when we broke away from England, right? We stopped saying Z and we just said Z. That's like probably in the Declaration of Independence somewhere that we stopped doing that. But no, thank you for the $9.99 and thanks for all the hard work that you put in to help us. Gabriel Knight, me, Justin, everyone. It is greatly appreciated. Let's see what we got for that here.
Yes, thanks for calling and not reversing the charges. Yes, bye. Shithead.
Oh, frack. And I just got to do this one at least once a Gabriel Knight, super member. Thank you very much. Yes, yes. Scrolling through here. There's Knights and Melvin in the house. Melvin got a preview of the diss rap and he enjoyed it. Riff Magos is here. On the Rumble side, thank you very much. And again, guys, get a Rumble account. They still haven't fixed the software here. We got this account celebrating 28 months of membership. That's a long time. Thank you very much. All the real homies hate Griff Trooper. Hell yeah, man. Thanks for being a member for so long. Let's see. Grandmaster Chris is in the house. He deflects any mention. And actually, we're going to get into one of your posts as well. And that is a Kamala Harris laugh. It's like a combination of the hyenas from, what was it, Lion King? And then Kamala Harris. And then we also have John Gets Gaming. 5 months of membership. Grift Troopers, let's see, seem to think you guys have or gave people crap for not reading everything or for Lucas not reading everything or anything. We all know that's not true. Yeah, and again, we're getting into that, not to the level that those who have come before me did, but we're going to take a different angle on that for sure. There's Justin again. Always holding it down. Justin's the pioneer on the Rumble side. And I've been uploading every day because the sync stopped. That's SYNC. The synchronization stopped coming up on 2 years ago. I think it was late 2023, early 2024, either or. And my videos and live streams stopped syncing. I didn't even realize it because I wasn't even messing with Rumble. So I've gone back and I've started taking those videos and uploading them on the Rumble side. Some of them I'll upload, afternoon time in America, and some of them I'll do early in the morning. That way, our friends across the pond are the first ones to get them. So, trying to keep those going, and then all new videos I'll go ahead and upload on the Rumble side as well. Not just for USA, but also for Star Wars and politics. Now, interestingly, I don't know if like the algorithm over there is smart enough, but maybe it realizes, hey, these thumbnails look different. Because, we've got the orange, red, flaming text on those thumbnails, but they don't get a lot of views compared to the old USA videos. So it's really interesting. We'll have to see what happens, but definitely going to keep on going because Rumble's algorithm works totally different than the YouTube one does. So got to keep on uploading new content and get through all that old content. And then, by the way, uploading Friday nights old spacings. I uploaded the very first one from December 19th, 2020, last Friday, and I'm going to skip around and I'll put the date. This is when it originally aired. And eventually we'll probably do some premieres because that counts as watch excuse me, as watch hours, obviously. And it's a lot harder to get watch hours on Rumble. So I've been doing that as well. And it takes a long time. Download the spacing, edit it, prep it up, and then re-upload it to Rumble. It takes a lot of work. So it's going to happen slowly, but it's definitely going to happen. I want to transfer all of them over to Rumble. The ones that didn't sync, again, late 2023. So that's quite a few to move over. But we're going to be talking a lot more about Rumble. Everyone's getting on Rumble. Hell yeah, I love that one. The Mirror OG. If you want to be able to use those custom emojis, guys, join the channel at any level. If you want someone else to be able to experience the joy of being a member, then gift those memberships and cast that See Invisibility spell. Let's see. Yeah, Gatekeepers Alliance into house. I want to get through everyone here. Yeah, I got to get that display changed, pal. Yeah, it's just on my side because what it's displaying in the software is coming from YouTube, and in YouTube somehow it reverted back to that at shit. I got to go back in and change it. Jim tells you in the house. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good guy is Jim. Seeing a lot of success on YouTube, on live streams and everything. E. Clay Thomason. I thought I saw him over here. Hasn't popped up in the software yet. Saying howdy. Because guess what, guys? We say howdy here. E. Clay Thomason down since the beginning. Gosh, guys, like this past June, 4 years of being monetized. So coming up on the 5-year anniversary of the very first spacing next month. Technically, the very first spacing was this month, but it was a little bit different, more politics and stuff. And those are no longer available. Maybe someday we'll re-release those, but the very first like nerd franchise discussion was December 19th, 2020. Me, Greg hates everything as you know him now. I think he had started up the Tuscan Bob thing at that point, and then we had a pop on that night. We had Ryan Kinnell pop on, and he started popping on every spacing because I was doing it every other week at that point. You know, not long, but he would pop on, and if there was something interesting he wanted to speak on, he would. Just like we were doing Raging Geek Jedi show in the High Ground on the Geek Blends channel. Ryan would always pop on. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. If I missed anyone, it was by no means intentional. I saw this. Sorry, I saw this. And yeah, we were all watching that a few weeks ago. You know what I'm talking about when he was on Goomboglia's channel. And it was pretty cringe stuff, but so much entertainment came out of it. It was what you predicted it would be. Lots of crying, lots of victimization, and a lot of non-specific claims were made. It's like at the end of the day, you know, everyone's going back and forth on social media on opposite sides of an issue. It's like find a way to make it fun and funny. Like if you're that guy, why wouldn't you turn it into something funny like, oh yeah, I do have Trump here, haha. You know, I think a little bit of self deprecation would go a long way for some people like that. But they take it so personal. I mean, my own members over the last 5 years have made fun of me at times. It's part of it, right? But that guy's boring. I'm talking J.I. Acup. He's boring. He's not interesting to listen to. And he just sucks. Like, he's not been able to make anything anyone wants to watch other than just to see the cringe, like that night. Oh, ban this person, ban that person. What they were saying was pretty funny. Like, turn it into something funny. And honestly, I thought Goombaglia thought a lot of that stuff was funny. You could kind of tell. So it's like, like play into it and stuff. Like, be cool about it. But I think he's incapable of doing that. So it was a funny night watching that. I was working out in my home gym, kind of had it playing on my phone and had a private chat going, and we were just, commenting on it. It was pretty funny, but in a lot of ways, it's just pitiable. I mean, this is like the 30th time I've moved on. I'm going to move on until he doesn't, because a few days later, as Laura found, calling out the edited fandom menace again, right? Always calling out what he thinks is the fandom menace. Fuck the fandom menace.
Fuck the fandom menace.
So yeah, not going to go too deep into that, but we saw it and it was cringe. Let's see, Stizo for life, super member with 10 gifted USA memberships. Well, let's see if enough people have been watching the channel that are eligible for a gifted membership. It looks like it. Matt, Prodigal, Cannibal the Dragon, Joseph Burton, Ryan 111. We got Sirius Muter, LM, Daimyo, that Daimyo, Mope Service, Smorgan in the house. What's going on? He's been watching the channel. All now members of United Spacers Alliance, courtesy of Stizo for life, super member and longtime spacer.
The commie bastard gets no food. Do you deny being demoted for these charges? Don't wait for the translation. Answer me now.
I really liked Baby Dumbo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stizo. Thanks for the continued support. Silver Ogre's here. Longtime supporter as well. Man, at this point, all you guys are longtime supporters. Thank you. That's all I can say. Yeah, no Bill Billington this time. I don't know, man. Like, it flip-flops. Like, 1 year or half of a year, it's me, and then it's him. And then, even for brief periods, it was like a Laura. I think on X, she's the boogie woman. Like, on X to him. On the platform formerly known as Twitter, I think she gets to him a lot because he tried to call her out several times and screenshotted quote tweets and all that stuff. But she's relentless and she'll keep on going after you. Let's see. Justin's saying something here, and I'm not seeing that, Justin. I see Stizo's. I see John's 5-month membership. Are we talking about the Rumble side here? Oh, yeah, okay. The Rumble side. Awesome. On the Rumble side, John Getz gifting 5 subscriptions, as they call them on that side. It's a little confusing. So you follow people on Rumble, you subscribe to someone on YouTube, you get a membership on YouTube, you subscribe to someone on Rumble. Those are the equivalent terms. But thank you very much, John Getz Gaming, for the 5 gifted Rumble memberships. And congratulations to the people who got those. Thanks for letting me know, Justin. I got to glance over there more often. Those are not popping up on this side with a little money bag sound like it does for YouTube. So, fantastic. Yeah, lots of baseless accusations. And Justin really broke it down on Monday night. Very busy day at work today, so I was not able to see what OG Star Wars did with it, but I'm sure she did the same on her stream. You mean, hold on, Melvin, you mean to be a guest on, right? The spacing is his favorite stream on which he can be a guest, for sure. New Year's resolution is to move to majority. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work. And Rumble has improved. I was an early adopter. Tuscan Bob, Greg Hates Everything he was putting his Mandalorian Season 2 reviews by the character Tuscan Bob, which if you've never seen those, go check them out. They're hilarious. He was putting them on Rumble, and all of us started to diversify. Shit, I think I have a BitChute account. I've got an Odyssey. It's too much of a pain in the ass to manage, so I really don't use my Odyssey. But Rumble, becoming a lot more familiar with it. So, channel is too old to receive gift memberships. What do you mean? Do you mean on YouTube or on Rumble? Because it's weird on Rumble where you have an account and then you have a channel and you can't change your account name. So if you go over there and like I'm chatting it up in Justin Stream or whatever, then I'm open airlock policy. It doesn't let me use, at least that I have found, the USA name, but my channel's name is USA. The good thing is, like, all of your followers count toward your minimums to become monetized. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's the link to that right there. All right, guys. Let me double check this over here. And let's start getting into some of this because I don't want to go super long tonight. First time coming back, and I know you guys have been watching Grizzy and all that stuff, so many hours of watching the tube, and plus it's going to be a long day of work tomorrow. I got to wake up early. All right, so what are we going to get into first? Let's get into Script Trooper first. So what did he do? He finally got tired of it, and he had what Darth Melvin calls a Star Wars meltdown, right? That's what happened. He made that video, and I saw it, and isn't it like 45 minutes long? I saw that shit, and I'm like, wait, is that right? Is it like a lot of music and clips? And some of it is, but a lot of it is him just rambling on. Just on and on and on. And it's like, holy shit, dude. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I saw more of it on Justin's stream on Monday than anywhere else, but I did skip around it the first day or second day it was out. And it was just, videos like that annoy me. It's like write an outline and know what you're going to talk about. Just don't sit there and ramble on. And then toward the end, he did have some kind of coherency to it, trying to make some points. But of course, they were all fallacious. But at least he was trying to say something other than, oh, yeah, they've been doing this and that, and blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the thing. This channel here, my channel, we made the decision in early 2022 when some stuff went down with Wikipedia against some people that are just not into the drama at all, right? And I'm like, we've got to cover this. So we did. And I'm like, wait, this is interesting because I'm more interested in what the fandom is doing than what the property is doing. I don't give a shit what Disney Star Wars is doing. I just don't. And other franchises, Marvel and whatever else, totally checked out at that point, right? So let's start covering that stuff. And that is how I actually found Darth Melvin. I started searching on YouTube, on Google, like drama, this and that. And the way I found Darth Melvin was I found a Goldman live stream. Remember the Goldman? Haven't really talked about him in a long time, but he had a live stream. And I went into the live stream, and within the first 3 minutes, someone in his chat had said, the Goldman is a Disney shill. And he read it off saying, yeah, that was weird. Some guy, named Melvin made a video about me. I'm like, well, who is this guy? And I look it up. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's going after Star Wars theory, the Star Wars Santa, and all these other people. And I'm like, this is like fantastic stuff. So I showed up. I think I commented on some of his videos. And then he showed up, Melvin, in one of my chats on the spacing. Then he was kind of digging our show, joined the Discord, and it was history from there. But I'm like, this is what we're going to talk about. Who cares about what's going on with the franchise and the stories? What's going on in the fandom and what's going on at the company, right? What are they doing with Obi-Wan Kenobi? And then the whole Moses Ingram thing happened. People forget this, but we kind of predicted what they were going to do because there was an article a week before the racism thing came out where I think it was from The Independent. That's a UK publication. And they were saying something like, hey, racism could happen here. It's in the Disney Star Wars Mega Cut, my techno video with amazing editing, if I do say so myself. It's in there, and it shows a week before all that happened, and we called it out, and then guess what? It happened. And ever since then, they've not given a shit. They've not cared about the old fans. They didn't before, but they were blatant about it. So we started talking about that stuff. And then we moved on to like, wait, all these shills, they are what they are. What about the people on our side, right? We started covering them. People like Script Trooper. That's what we cover. And it's like people are coming to us with messages. Hey, look at what this person said in this video. Or look at what they said on X or wherever it may be. So we start covering that stuff. That's what the channel was about. And it still is. So these people take it personally. And if you notice this in his video, he does not address any of the criticism against him. All he does is try to throw something back at us. Oh, you've said all this and this about me. Well, guess what? George never read the EU, so take that. Take that. That's basically his response. Absolutely no refutation of anything we've said, anything we've proven. And that's how they all are, whether it's him or Yavin-based broadcast or whoever it is. The shills themselves, J.I. Acup, Mesa Windu, This Explains, whoever it is, they just try to throw something else back at you or they ignore it. They never address the claims made against them. They're not even claims, they're facts, they're proof. We have receipts when we make videos and we make posts, and we're trying to correct people. We're trying to entertain the people that send us these messages, that send us these video clips. Look at what so and so said. Okay, let us look into it, and then we will make something about it. That's what we do. So he made this because he finally got butthurt, and he's trying to defend himself, and he looks like an idiot in the process. He fell into that trap, and he's done it before. I think he's the one that got caught doing an AI search on something, and the AI, shocker, had it completely wrong. And he does it all the time. And then he tries to come up with clever gotchas like, hey, everyone says, how did Luke Skywalker go by Luke Skywalker on Tatooine? He's like, he didn't. We don't even know his name until he introduces himself to Leia. So he probably wasn't going by Skywalker on Tatooine. And then I showed him that the G canon radio dramatizations have Wendy, Luke's friend, addressing him as Skywalker. You know, kind of using the last name like on the football team type thing. G canon. Again, before you make the post, why don't you do one bit of research? I'm sorry, buddy. The radio dramas were not EU. They were G canon. The novelizations are, and then the scripts are. Well, you may say, but they contradict each other. So, of course, we had the tiered system, but even in G canon, there's like a subset of tiers where it's the movies. If the novelization says Yoda's blue, then he's not blue, he's green. But anything not contradicted by the movie in the novelizations and the radio dramas and the scripts are canon. Not draft scripts, the final scripts. And then you get people like him saying, look what George said, look what he planned to do. Yeah, he planned to do it. Did he ever do it? Trying to think of an example here. Empire Strikes Back. For those who don't know, that original story idea was way different. Han was going to go in search of his stepfather, his estranged stepfather, who was in charge of like a vast smuggling network criminal empire, because Leia wanted him to go find his stepfather to see if they would help in the fight against the Empire. That's what it was going to be about. So you can see how that evolved into, okay, there's a Lando guy, and it's not a criminal empire. He is an administrator of a city, right? On a gas giant planet. So it evolved from there, but does that mean that, hey, look, he planned to do this, so Disney Star Wars can do that because George planned to do that? No, because it didn't happen that way. Oh, his sequel treatments, those sequels didn't happen. They were unlikely to ever happen. But people like Script Trooper fall into that trap where they see screenshots online. And this is one of the most regretful things about the expandeduniverse.com going away, because Matt and John had an entire page up there debunking all these screenshots that you see on Tumblr and Reddit and wherever else. George said this, blah, 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 out of context, and sometimes even dishonest. So expandeduniverse.com, which is gone now, and I'm upset because I told Matt 2 years ago, this time I think in 2023, if you ever have like issues keeping it up money wise, let me know, because I would contribute toward keeping it up. I wrote articles for it. It was a good resource, but they would debunk all this stuff. I wish we had that page. I'm not sure if expandeduniverse.com has been archived, you know, like on the Wayback Machine. Need to check on that, but it was a good resource for finding ways to debunk the shills when they come out with these screenshots they're not even looking into. One guy came up with them, and suddenly everyone's going to go ahead and use them. Hey, look what he said about that's not my world, and whatever else. And the way George was, he could have been in a shitty mood and he would make comments like that. But we all know what we know. And speaking of 45-minute videos, coming up on 5-year anniversary in a few months here, about 6 months, of the Canon documentary that I put out. I wish at that point I had understood my software better and it had better editing, but it's not bad. It took a long time to research. It took a while to record, because sitting down for 45 minutes to record something, it can get tiring. So I did it in chunks back in 2021. But that sucker is right under 45 minutes. That's something you should watch that's 45 minutes, not 45 minutes of a baby crying and laughing like a hyena and thinking he's owning you when he's just making himself look like a complete buffoon. Because that's what he did in this video. And it was just weird, like showing pictures of us and clips of us. There was one really creepy one of Alora. It's like, where do you get that picture from? It's like, hey, show me. Like, I don't give a shit. But it's like the ladies, like, kind of stay off the ladies, man. That's kind of weird. It was like a weird personal picture. And yep, here it is. I'm going to throw it up there. Only going after Mia, Laura, and Justin because, you know, Mr. Grizzy and Melvin have never gone after him. All for one and one for all. It's pretty pathetic, actually, doing that. Like thinking, I'm going to go after something called Gatekeepers Alliance, of which there are 5 members, but I'm going to leave 2 of them out because either I'm afraid of the backlash. Like, aren't you afraid of the backlash from us too? Or is it because he actually likes those guys? Don't know. But it was pretty pathetic. And then the gist at the end was, hey, look, George doesn't think the EU is canon. He didn't read the EU. So ha ha ha, I win. I wish I had some clips of that. Kind of like the uranium. It wasn't even funny, and he wasn't even making a point because none of that shit was valid. And that stuff we've already debunked. It's like, dude, where have you been for the last 5, 6, 7 years on X, where all this stuff has been debunked again and again, especially by OG Star Wars? Where have you been thinking, hey, look what I found, all these great quotes. I'm going to make a video and I'll be awesome and I'll look so smart. I'll look so smart, mommy, because look what I did. I put those meanies online in their place. Soul Assassin's in the house. And you're probably right. I think it may be a crush on anyone, right? Because he's got his girlfriend Anna. What I mean by that is he thinks that me and Anna and I, you got a mouse in your pocket there, pal. But yeah, watch the Canon documentary and you'll see, regardless of what quotes he has or doesn't have, that Star Wars is a very unique franchise. It's not comics. And I go into comics for a good 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes in that documentary, and how they're different from something like Star Wars. Lord of the Rings was a little bit different. Star Trek, completely different. All of their books not only are they not canon, but they're not even interconnected until later. Later years, they started making them like a more coherent storyline, starting in, I'd say, 2000. Like they'll refer to books, from 2002 if they had written them in 2009. But before that, it was just like one off authors writing self contained stories, and they have to put everything back the way they found it. With that being said, there were some pretty good books in the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s before they started interconnecting them. But all these franchises, the way they handle their continuity is different. Star Wars, from the beginning, if you go to, let's say, Star Wars number 7, number 8, in the letters column, the comic I'm talking about from Marvel, George was straight up having lunch with the Marvel editors saying, hey, here's what I don't want you to do and what I want you to do. Did it all turn out perfectly? No, but at least he was giving thought toward, hey, don't do something with Luke here, right? Because we don't know exactly what we're going to do yet, and I don't want people to expect that to happen in a future movie, because by then he had secured the sequel rights himself. But none of these guys want to hear that. They just want to hear the simpleton thing. Because here's what it is. Someone like Script Trooper likes his fandom the way it is. It's not, it's like his truth. It's his fandom, right? My fandom. He likes it the way it is, where he can look at the stuff he wants to, namely things, pictures that move on a screen, right? Like the easy things I can just watch on a screen. I don't have to read. It's kind of like the Chevy Chase's Gerald Ford skit on SNL way back in the day. I was told there would be no math involved. I was told there'd be no reading involved. And it goes beyond just reading like the narrative, like novels and stuff and comics. It's the reference books and the real world history. I haven't read a lot of fiction, Star Wars fiction, in maybe 3 years, because I got the archives books and they're this thick. Going through the prequel era one still. I was reading an old book from the 1980s, The Making of the Return of the Jedi. There are like scans and stuff in a book. And that was kind of rare for the 1980s, like lots of inside information on the making of that movie. I've been reading a lot of the real world history stuff more than I have EU novels, because I probably read 85%. Haven't read any of the Old Republic stuff when it comes to Star Wars, but obviously all the post ROTJ stuff, lots of the comics, all the old school Del Rey, like Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, obviously. So, but guys like him, they don't even get into that stuff. They want their fandom, right? The movies, maybe the Clone Wars, whatever else, because that's easy. And it may be motivated by the fact that the audience that they're going after, the biggest audience possible, are those that are also doing the same thing, because the normies aren't reading the books and all that. So, hey, my YouTube channel, my X account, and this is what Star Wars Theory does too. I can get more followers if I talk more about that stuff, right? The more accessible stuff, which is fine. Go talk about it, but don't act like you're a superior resource when it comes to Star Wars when you don't go all the way, or any franchise. Like I see a lot of the Lord of the Rings people thinking they're so smart on Lord of the Rings. It's like, oh yeah, Silmarillion, blah, blah, blah. Well, Silmarillion wasn't even complete by Tolkien. Oh, Christopher finished it though. His son. Well, yeah, great. But Christopher went into his little shop because J.R.R. had this little shop that was disconnected from the house, and that's where he would do all his writing. There were notes everywhere. So Christopher pieced all that together. Hey, Silmarillion's canon. You really can't say that, because Tolkien himself isn't the one who published it. John gets on the Rumble side for $1, and this one actually shows up highlighted. That's cool. He wants it easy. He wants all the credit without doing anything. He's a lazy, grifting shill who wants to destroy good stories for the age of his own credibility. You're exactly right. Lord of the G strings. Yeah, we got to have like a elf expanded bootyverse or something. But that's what it is. It's their fandom. My truth. My fandom. This is what it is. It's my headcanon, and all that stuff doesn't count. It's a rationalization. It's a cope. Hey, this stuff isn't canon. That means I don't have to pay attention to it, right? That's the mentality that these guys have. All right, let's start looking at some stuff here. My overlay, I got to make a new one because I think X on the website moved where stuff is positioned, because when I tried it earlier, it didn't work like it used to. I think they've widened some stuff. But here's Lore Master Chris, and this is a good example here. This is, yeah, it's from earlier today. Let's see. Well, let's try this. You may be able to see it better. So, Script Trooper George Lucas said he grudgingly added Star Wars stuff in his museum. So that big museum's coming out in about a year, 10 months, something like that. Looks like a big spaceship with grass on the top. Bro moved on a long time ago. Cue the people that can't face reality. And here's a quote from George, and this isn't confirmed. Of course, I've moved past Star Wars. I mean, I've got a life. Griff Trooper, and this is Lore Master Quiz on the quote. People really need to move on from Star Wars. Also, Griff Trooper, subscribe to my channel and check out my rewrite of the sequel trilogy. So, Script Trooper replies, I appreciate you misquoting. That took effort, I presume. So, what I think he actually meant, Chris, by this meme, what I think he meant is we are putting stock in what George Lucas Star Wars is. Like, we're saying that's the real Star Wars. But since George moved on, it no longer matters if we're putting stock in that. See what I'm saying? I think that's the point he's trying to make. I don't think he was trying to say move on because George did. And that's another cope from him, because he's trying to say if George doesn't care, then it doesn't matter. Then we can like whatever we want. We can ride that fence. We can rewrite the sequels, right, to actually be good, including Rey. Just including Rey at all, as Rey, makes you a Rey boy. I think that's what he was trying to convey here in this little post and the picture he's posting. We understand that he's moved on. We've made videos on it way back when the retarded kid in the school tried to ask him this SJW question about, oh yeah, this and that. And then George said, yeah, the values in Star Wars are timeless. And representation, all this and that is what the kid was talking about. It's like the values in Star Wars, the hero's journey are timeless. And he lost control of Star Wars. That was 4 years ago. Coming up on 5 years ago. It was it was late 2020, and it started really hitting the internet in early 2021 when George did that at that school. We know he's moved on. Oh, he showed up to the set, and look, he's holding Baby Yoda. Yeah, what are you going to do if you show up to the set where your friends are making television? You know, people like Bryce Dallas Howard, whoever, people he knows. What's he going to do? Take the doll and throw it against the wall? I mean, it doesn't mean that he thinks it's real Star Wars. It doesn't mean he supports it. Yeah, we had that quote. What was that, about a year and a half ago, about leave it to the professionals and don't let what's his name take over Disney. That guy that was trying to form a hostile takeover and all that stuff. And George came out and supported Disney. Yeah, okay, whatever. It still doesn't mean that he supports what Disney Lucasfilm is doing with Star Wars. He doesn't care, is what he's saying. Not caring what they do and tacitly or openly supporting what they do are two different things. Period. And all the backhanded compliments he's given, yeah, I think The Last Jedi was beautifully made. I mean, yeah, Nelson Peltz. And here's the thing, we were talking about Peltz like 2 months before anyone else was, whatever year that was, 2023, I want to say. No one was really talking about Peltz. And then here comes WDW Khan, and he starts talking about all that shit. In any event, George doesn't care. So not caring what they do versus coming out, and George is going to give an interview with ABC News and say how much he hates Disney Star Wars. He's not going to do that. Number one, there's probably a non-disparage clause in whatever they signed. And number two, he doesn't give a shit enough to do that. And he probably has more class because these are people that he knows and he worked with for years. He just doesn't care. He sold it and he moved on. He's telling you he moved on. This is just the latest time he's told us he's moved on. He said it more than once. But everyone acts like it's news every time it happens. He didn't reply. Yeah, he may have you muted. In fact, I had him muted for the longest time, and I think he was replying to my stuff like, 6 months ago, a year ago, and I didn't realize it because I'm not getting notifications, because I probably muted him like 3-4 years ago because he was annoying me. Why is WDW Khan? Is he... Oh, yeah, dude. If you go back, I think we started this in late 2022. If you go back, early 2023, if you go back and look at the spacing streams, you'll find our segment where we would cover him and Doomcock and all the fake news guys. And just totally expose them. How anyone thinks anything that guy says has a shred of truth in it is beyond me, because that guy's like just so obviously a fraud. Holy shit, Justin. Like, I didn't want to like make it obvious, but I couldn't fucking remember the name of the segment of my own show. The Faux Show. Yeah, WW Con, man. What a jackrod. Worse than Doomcock, worse than Mike Zero, because at least those guys are like being entertaining in it. But WW Con, oh yeah, folks, look what's going on. The parks are they're gonna take urinals out, and everyone's got to sit down to pee now. Like, okay, then stop going to the park. Stop giving your fucking money to the company you bitch about all the time. How about that? Yeah, you got to see those faux show segments. I need to clip those out and make them videos. I just feel like there's so much content from the past that we don't want to lose, because you can get lost in a live stream. Oh, look, it's a 4-hour live stream. I can't watch that whole thing, but there could be like a great 20, 25-minute segment in there that needs to be its own video. We got to do that. Got to find the time to do that. And then Justin had a pretty cool idea. So we want to come up with a counter, maybe starting on a certain date. Like, how many Disney Star Wars references is Script Trooper going to make, right? Here's one. What are we calling these nameless aliens from Star Wars? Or this nameless alien? You mean from Disney Star Wars? Because look what it is, guys. Look at that logo. What does that logo say? I'm going to play some Jedi Survivor. Jedi Survivor. And a dingo ate your baby. Let's see. Disney hates Han Solo. You mean Disney hates Disney Han Solo? Here's what really pisses me off. Like when foreigners talk American politics, it's like, aren't your politics for your own country interesting enough where you can talk about that? Like, why does everyone have to talk about US politics? I don't understand it. Greg hates everything is here, and he says maybe it's not even that he doesn't want to talk about it. Maybe he knows he shouldn't because he can't say what he really feels. Maybe. I just don't think he gives a fuck. He's sold it. And yeah, he may still be interested in the process, so he'll stop by the studio and, oh, I want to see this volume thing, you know, like, who knows? But to say that he even tacitly supports it because he shows up and they hand him a Baby Yoda doll to hold, and look at his face in that picture too. He's like, I don't want to be here. What are you talking about, Gabriel? Something happened with Rumble? Something happened with Rumble, Gabriel, let me know. Giving you the runaround. Let's see what else here. Disney Star Wars. And again, trying to rationalize what's going on. It doesn't matter what happened in the story. In real life, right in front of our eyes, they were symbolically burning down real Star Wars in front of us. They know what they were doing there. Another one. Star Wars comic, and we've been talking about these for coming up on 5 years, and they're all cringe, always had been. From Disney Marvel Comics. Get the writers group, yeah, fix Disney Star Wars. Well, at least he's being honest about Sydney Sweeney here. Disney Star Wars, talking about the Snoke clones and stuff. Disney Star Wars, Luke Skywalker in the sequels, what could have been. Yeah, what could have been is the adaptation of, let's say, Legacy of the Force, where Luke, Leia, and Han all would have been the correct age for that adaptation. Talking about Milan, and this is a weird one. This was in the diss rap. I'm just some guy, but Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk sold their house in January, and no one knows for sure where they lived after that. Is it strange to think they were separated but didn't want it public? No, it's not strange. I think it's retarded. And I think it's irrelevant. Like, rage bait, engagement farming. A lot of negative engagement farming on that type of shit. Yeah, it's just, you don't see anything here that really give you insights into real Star Wars from this guy. Let's flip over here, though, to a couple of weeks ago, got into it with the guy that I call the Mighty Dumb Dolt. It's the Mighty Dudbolt. that guy, at least some of his posts, and you can tell he's lifting it from somewhere else, and I think I figured out who it was here a couple of weeks ago, but at least he's giving you some kind of substance to real Star Wars. But I think he's lifting all his shit from this David Talk Star Wars, or as I call him, what did I call this guy? David Shill's DSW. That's what I'll call him instead of David Talks SW. But if you look at this screenshot here from Tumblr, this guy has a Tumblr account. And then you look at this one, a lot of that shit looks like the screenshots that Mighty Dumb Dolt uses in a lot of his posts. And this David Talks or David Chill's DSW guy, he has a lot of bullshit out there. He had a whole post on the EU not being canon and all that type of shit. What Lucas says and what Filoni says. I'm going to invoke Filoni's name. I'm going to invoke the Wolffucker's name on Luke confronting Vader in Return of the Jedi. And this is how this started. We got into it with Mighty Dumb Dolt about Luke being tricked by Yoda and Obi-Wan into thinking he has to kill Vader. And George straight up implied that in the archives when he was having another discussion with Paul Duncan, the author. But Luke transcended that, and he was able to redeem his father instead of killing him. But the intention of Yoda and Obi-Wan was for Luke to kill him, because listen to the conversation between Spirit Obi-Wan and Luke. I can't kill my own father, then the Emperor has already won. I mean, that's pretty clear. If you understand the English language, Mighty Dumb Dolt, then you'll understand that the implication is he has to kill him or the Emperor will win. There was nothing about redeeming. It was all negative, like he's more machine now than man. So that's how we got into it with this guy, but at least he's bringing some kind of substance. Not the superficial, high-level, uninformed Star Wars discussion that you get from Script Trooper. A lot of the videos I've reviewed from him over the years, they're just like rambling, and none of them really have a good point. I think we first started zeroing in on him when he said something along the lines of Andor, he doesn't like it, but it's better than the EU or something like that. Again, Star Wars illiterate, maybe just an illiterate period, trying to cope with the fact that he doesn't want to read something, so he's just vilifying that thing. See what you guys are saying here. OG Star Wars making of ROTJ. Yeah, and the one you're talking about is the one by what's his name? The guy that passed away a few years ago. It's the nice book. I don't have that one. I have the paperback. And again, there are like scans of shooting plans. Like, okay, we're going to shoot this scene and that scene. There are insights from George and a bunch of other people, but I want the one that you're talking about. You're talking about the nice coffee table book, right? By J.W. Rinsler. He passed away a couple of years ago. And our friend, Not My Star Wars, another anti-EU illiterate, he interviewed him on his channel several years back as well. Yeah, illiterate trooper. Yeah, you're a Rey boy. If you rewrite the sequel trilogy and you keep Rey, you're a Rey boy. Sorry, I see what's going on over here in Rumble. Did I shower today? Minimum of 42 minutes. Minimum. Could have been longer. Han Solo is fan fiction. Technically, you're right, because he's fiction, and I think George was a fan of the character, so you're right. Yeah, I got to get all those Rinsler books. I mean, they look beautiful. I've seen pictures of them online and all that stuff. Hey, you know what? That's another good point, Tehillim29. J.I. Jacob and Script Trooper would make the perfect Our Side couple. Yeah, but J.I. Jacob's not an Our Sider. They have a weird relationship because Griff Trooper has defended him, but he's also tried to call him out too. Griff Trooper has tried to go after Star Wars theory after we started normalizing that. Here come his videos. It's like no originality whatsoever. And it's sad because a few months ago, it's been a while, maybe 3-4 months, we gave him the chance. It's like, look, you want to be a real fan, Script Trooper, then just listen to us and we will get you there. And he got really offended by that. But it's a nice offer. It's a genuine offer. Let us school you. Let us educate you. Humble yourself and learn, right? That's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to be a superficial fake fan with hubris. That's the part about it. He has hubris. It's not just, yeah, I don't read the E or whatever. He's proud of that fact. He's proud of the fact that he doesn't know things when he makes a post and he looks like a complete buffoon. There's a gatekeeper, a fucking gatekeeper. All right, enough about this guy. And I got to take a drink here. So let's take a little break here and we'll hit the diss wrap again for the benefit of those who didn't get to see it earlier. Here we go.
Lucas, damn, I'm glad y'all set it off. Better get that first order, helmet off. First you was down with the Ray, and now you going hard after TLJ. Nothing but a clown. Digging up your fandom from the lost and found. Look at the big helmet switch. When you get called out, you lie like a bitch. Siding with the Shills and they talking points. Going to the same T-girl, exotic joints. If we graded Star Wars, grad using letters, you be known as a Zeta. Remember the time when your posts exploded? Talking Disney Star Wars, you got community noted. Refusing to tag like a coward. Ducking me like that little bastard Howard. Taking your thumbnail on the PC path. Excluding the Grizz and Melvin like it'll save you from the rad. Trying to cherry pick targets in the GK. Epic failing, you'll continue just to be gay. All for one and one for all. While Script Trooper rides Abrams balls. DSW doesn't taste great, but to you it's less filling. You're getting conned by a Script Trooper and his vast shilling. Despite your name, you're going off script, but your political posts are dead like a crip. Going for the whack job conspiracy angle, showing your true stripes are like a bango. Looking like a tard with your rage bait shit takes. For your boyfriends, you wanna straight up split cakes. Like that SJW Lucky Kennedy, virgin loser who fucks imaginary entity. A get along gang of Star Wars illiterates, basing your success in life off the most Twitter hits. You got a big fat mouse in your pocket. Me and my girlfriend Anna, we just wanna talk it. The humiliation you're getting, I know in the lore. You gotta be tired of that ass being so sore, but who knows? Knowing you're ready and willing, you're getting conned by a Script Trooper and his vast shilling.
All right. So that's what's going on with that, guys. Before we get into this, I just want to show you guys this really quick. This is one of my other channels. This is Star Wars and Politics. It was the spacing back in June, July when I started it up, and I'm like, wait a minute here, I'm going to change this around. Occasionally make a video like this one here. Palestine is not the Rebel Alliance. And then I'm going to aim to try and make a video a day, but I had to go out of town this week, so I wasn't able to get one every day, but it's crazy, and it's proof that USA is cooked. Tons of videos put out the last 10 weeks on USA, some of them getting 150 views. Look at this shit, 706. Look at this one on that idiot Eric Debunks, 846 views. This one on Yellow Flash only has 137. This one on YBB only has 156. But it's weird. Some of these are really taking off. So I think somehow there's a shadow ban on USA. I don't know what caused it. Maybe there's a period that'll go by to where things will pick up again, but I'm going to keep pumping stuff out on here. 141 subscribers. So let me put the link to this. If you're not already subbed, I'm going to put it in the software chat. That way it goes to Rumble and YouTube. Make sure you're subbed to this channel, because I'm going to try and put a video out a day. Just find a topic, right? And the one on Yellow Flash is, he made a comment that the only way to get anyone to talk about Star Wars is shipping. Well, not really. There was no shipping in Andor unless it's weirdo offline stuff. It's more about the dog shit politics and all that. So pretty typical coming from that guy, though. So make sure you have notifications turned on, because if I'm going to do one a day, I want you guys watching those and helping me push them out there. But it's fun. It's fun to make those. So here's what's going on, and it's not specifically about this guy, about Eric Debunks, but this guy must be running out of material, because he's getting into the Josh and Star Wars theory topic. The nerd theory breakup, the second one, he was vaguely aware in this video that it had happened before, but not why, or nothing about the 1 hour notice, all that stuff. So right out of the gate, I'm like, hey, here are some channels that actually know the news here and what they're talking about. So he must be running out of stuff to talk about when it comes to Young Ripper and whoever else. So he missed that. What else did he miss in this? He kind of touched on the sabers, but he doesn't know anything about those either. All the drama behind that stuff. And he said something like this. He said, Star Wars theory seems to be going back. Well, yeah, that's what Star Wars theory does. He goes back and forth. He flip-flops all the time. It's like, why do you sit there and make videos on stuff if you don't even know what you're talking about? I don't think I've ever made a video. I think I've started to, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't even know what I'm talking about here. I'm not making the video, or I'm going to spend a day Googling stuff and understanding what's going on before I make the video, right? So he's delving into the Star Wars stuff. It's like, what's the line from the end of that episode of Breaking Bad? Stay out of my territory. He's not the only one. There's a lot of small channels out there that are trying to parrot. They're trying to recycle the news that's already been discussed, that's already been covered. Leave it to the professionals, guys. Like, come on. Let's see here. NPC. Yeah, definitely low tier. And he's a member of that, maybe a founding father of that fandom initiative thing, I believe. The replica rock from A New Hope. Yeah. Star triggers. Yeah, a tourist. And he's DJ Eric, though, guys. But yeah, it's not just him. A lot of people are trying to get into stuff like that. And they're just not worth watching. But his video gets tons of views. It's like all the work that Melvin's put into exposing these people, like lots of receipts and funny clips. A lot of the lightsaber research Justin's done. Like, come on. Truth be told, hey, look at this. We got Tuscan Bob on the Rumble side. And again, Tuscan Bob, early adopter of Rumble. Truth be told, I figured that the exposed video was coming. So it was who got your channel nuked. It was I who got your channel nuked. Yeah. Oh, there's a few exposed ones coming that are going to be fun. He's right about some of it, but like I covered in this video, what he was saying, I think he's making way too many assumptions about stuff. He doesn't know how much any of these guys are making. It's like, how can you even comment on that unless you have firsthand knowledge of what their actual situation is? You can't. And he basically said that Josh, he tried to like paint Josh as more of being like us than Star Wars theory is, like outrage and all. It's like, no, I don't see that as being the case at all. And then he kept on using that situation to go after his hard on, which, you know, is the Zero Crew. He kept on doing that. It's like, if you're going to make a video about them, then make it about them. But if you're making the video about Nerd Theory breaking up, then make it on that. Like, what are you even doing here? Oh, they're going to run out of money on you don't even know. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I don't think you know. It was a pointless video. Mine wasn't, though, because I'm making the point that it was pointless. Who's the consumer blob? Yeah. And it's honestly not hard to be right about that stuff. A lot of that stuff. But then people are probably right about him too a lot of the time. So I'll say this, guys, like, you know, come up with your own jam. Come up with your own approach to stuff. There's a lot of stuff I avoid talking about because everyone else has already talked about it. And it's like, unless I have a unique take on that I want to share with everyone, and I think everyone needs to have, I just steer clear of it. We need a lot more of that. Content farmers. Yeah. Checked all the boxes. Oh, Jorge Lucas is in the house. What's going on? Let's see here. Make sure you guys are hitting the like. We got 35 watching on the YouTube side. We got about 13 watching on the Rumble side, which is awesome. We got to get the X streams going soon. Got to start transmitting to X. Let's start wrapping some stuff up here because, like I said, it's going to be an early day for me tomorrow. Probably a lot of you too. Dune, 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 dune. So here's a fun one while I'm looking for this. Friday nights, now that I'm not streaming on Friday nights, I've been spending a lot of time with my wife, showing her 80s movies she's never seen. And the last 2 weeks we did Beverly Hills Cop and Part 2. And I think she loved both of them. I don't know if we're going to do 3. We might. I mean, 3, I saw it at a drive-in when it came out in the 90s, and I'm just kind of like, it felt like he lost the Axel character by then because it was years later. I felt it was more like I'm watching Eddie Murphy than I'm watching Axel. So
shut the door, hit the button, watch him go. You ain't bass, here's a quick ticket to get space. We chillin' up in the back room, you floating through the vacuum. Time to end this session, level at your explosive decompression.
Script Trooper for being such a crybaby and fallacious pussy face. Get in the airlock. Probably won't be the only time. And it wasn't the first time. I'm going to come up with a bunch of shit takes. And I'm going to sound like an idiot. Look at this. Look at all this proof that George never read anything. He never read the EU. And you guys are dumb. And I'm the real Star Wars fan, even though I like Disney. Freaking jackass. All right. Let's see here. On the Rumble side, we got $5 from Gabriel Knight. Just want to say, Script Trooper, who is watching, I was once a dumb normie like you, and you are wrong. Lose your arrogance and pick a damn EU book up. Yeah, and I got a video on that from 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago at this point, actually. The EU reading order. And in my opinion, there's only one place to start. And it's Heir to the Empire, period. Don't do it chronologically. There's a method to the madness of my reading order. So watch that video and start with Heir to the Empire. And then if you're into audiobooks and stuff, then listen to the audiobook after you read it, because you'll get the sound effects and all that stuff. And then move on to whatever I have next. Quite frankly, I don't remember, but if you can read those, and if you already have read them, because a lot of the normies have read that trilogy, there's a lot of other good ones. Like if you just want good science fiction novels, then read X-Wing, the X-Wing series. Just good military science fiction there, with some Star Wars splashed in there, right? Corran Horn, finding out he's descended from Jedi, stuff like that. It's just great. But thanks for the $5 and great advice from Gabriel Knight, super member.
We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
He doesn't like you.
I'm sorry.
I don't like you either.
What is it, some kind of local trouble?
Let's just say we'd like to avoid any imperial entanglements.
Well, that's the real trick, isn't it? And it's going to cost you something extra.
Thanks, Gabriel. Oh, Gummies here. Yeah, great book. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's almost like a Star Trek episode, but it's Star Wars, right? Like, hey, here's your mission. This is what's going to happen in the episode. And for those who don't know, I'm not going to give away the entire plot, but the premise is that the New Republic has rediscovered a world that was lost. And they're kind of like at the atomic technological level. That's an actual level in the role playing game that's right before they get to space where they have hyper drive technology. So they're pretty advanced, but they just can't leave their solar system, their star system. So Wedge, and Hobby and Tycho and Wes are sent there as the diplomats because this planet, it's a feudal system where there are several kings around the planet, and they put a lot of weight into fighter pilots, warriors of any kind, but especially fighter pilots. So who do you send? You send the greatest star pilot in the galaxy, snub fighter jockey in the galaxy, Wedge Antilles and the crew. And there's a lot of intrigue, and it's just a fantastic one-shot novel. Comedy, as always, from Aaron Alston. So it's a great book. Yeah, it's a good book. Luke Skywalker is fan fiction. Oh, you mean the leader of the Two Live Crew? Yeah, I love that first book, man. It's you could tell it was based on the game in that very first opening chapter where he's in the sim. Corrin is in the sim. I think it's a fantastic opening to that entire series from Michael A. Stackpole. Holy chitfuls here. And Michael A. Stackpole was already a seasoned science fiction author. At that point, I think he'd written like 6 or 7 Battletech novels. The Karinsky trilogy, and then the I call it the Sword trilogy. It's like On Guard, Repost, and whatever else, using like fencing terms. And Battletech is a freaking awesome universe. And you can get all the old books for free out there. Like I have them wherever my old Kindle is that still works perfectly fine, my Kindle Fire. It's a great little tablet. That was right before they started building stuff uh, with like a life in mind, like purposeful obsolescence, right? That thing still works and it's awesome. But got a lot of Battletech books I downloaded on there. Start with a Decision at Thunder Rift. That's the first one. All right. We got something else here. All right, we got a Mara Jade here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Mara Jade is in the house. I've seen this cosplayed actually at a few cons, this particular outfit. Not with the bust the way it is, but maybe zip down a little bit. But this is like an extreme case of it. So this young lady did a fantastic job on the costume. And this is all about costuming, guys. This is a costume appreciation segment, right? Because not only is it the expanded bootyverse, it's the expanded boobyverse as well. So yeah. Let me step over your tongues here. Justin has a question. Do you like Rogue Squadron or Wraith more? It's a loaded question. I think I like the characters and the interaction and even some of the plot more in Wraith Squadron, but I like the way that Rogue Squadron ends. Wraith Squadron did not end very well. It's like, hey, if you want to know how this story ends, then go read Courtship of Princess Leia. It's like, why didn't you guys just like write another book from the perspective of Wraith Squadron during the events of Courtship, or even add a few more chapters and do it that way instead of it literally says, go to Courtship of Princess Leia and see how it ends. Like, no. Finish the story. Have a denouement where all the characters are, okay, we won, we beat Zinj, whatever. That's the way it should have happened. But again, I think the character work was tighter and it was more of an ensemble because in Rogue Squadron books, you got Wedge, you got Quarren, Tycho, Gavin, and a few others, the main players. But in Wraith Squadron, like everyone gets a lot of attention because some of the pilots in Rogue Squadron, they're just kind of like there as a name. And a few of them, I think they die in the first book. So it's like, I'm not trashing Stackpole there, but I just think that if he had more time to think it through, he could have tightened up some of those characters. But they're all fantastic. But if I had to pick, it would be the first 4 Rogue books because I like the Taking of Coruscant. I like the Back to War. That was a really cool way to take the story without just being typical, oh, we're going to fight the Imperials again, So that's a good picture, but why did someone Photoshop? I'm not even going to finish reading that. There are the audios right there. King Chris, super member in the house. Yeah, make sure you rewind it, buddy. We had a great discussion earlier. All right. One other thing I wanted to go into, guys, not very long, but I was scrolling on X the other day and I got an ad for something probably customized to me because Elon said something the other day where he said, hey, just wait a week or so and you're really going to start seeing stuff that you want to see. And oddly enough, around that time, my engagement started going down big time. So that means no one really wants to see me. But no, I'm seeing a lot of science fiction stuff, not just, Star Wars, Star Trek, but like hard science fiction type of stuff and ads and posts, which is pretty cool. But I have something right here, and I'll put it on the screen in a second. I saw an ad for a game, which is kind of weird, based around this universe, Asimov's Foundation series. And it actually is in the same universe as his Robot series, albeit in different parts of the timeline, where Robot starts a few hundred years from present day, and I think like Foundation goes tens of thousands of years into the future. So I saw a game based around it, and I thought back to a short I made several years ago, and it still gets views. Apple TV made a series based on Foundation, and it was wokeified race swaps, and they changed the story and all that shit. So what it's about, that's the cover of the book I just held up. I used to have like a slipcase for all 4 books. Don't know what happened to it. They were my father's. He probably read a science fiction, a Western, or like a real life history book like every 2 or 3 days. That's how fast he read. I think we sat down one day and calculated he had read like 20 plus thousand books in his lifetime. Pretty crazy. But yeah, Soul Assassin found it. Good job. So it's really interesting. It's not really sciencey. It's kind of like Star Wars in that it's more metaphysical than it is like hard science fiction. So the guy that you see there, that's Harry Seldon, and he comes up with a new science called psychohistory, where he can predict the future. And the plot unfolds in the first book here, where he predicts the fall of the empire and the formation of the foundation. And even then, like what happens with the foundation. And there are 4 books in that series. And then posthumously, I think they published one other, and then some other people wrote some sequels, but I wouldn't even count theirs. But definitely seek these out. Just really interesting concept. It's like a generational type story. If you know Robert A. Heinlein and his Time Enough for Love, Lazarus Long, that character who's in several books. And this is a guy who is bred to live like almost forever. So he experiences history and then the future for hundreds of years. Nothing like exactly like that, but kind of the same type of concept where it's a living history type of story and novel with wars, and Harry predicted some of what would happen. It's fantastic stuff. So saw that game advertised and I'm like, hey, I'm going to make that recommendation. That's something I'm going to start doing. I've done it with Starship Troopers. Going to start talking a lot more about just original science fiction, not just like the big franchises. Let's see. Oh, cool. I hope you had a good time. Harry Seldon, it's Hari, is a mathematical Karl Marx. Yeah, I mean, you could make that argument. I love iJedi. I like that book. I think it did a lot to fix Jedi Academy. Is Matt here? Let's see. Oh, another $5 on the Rumble side from Gabriel Knight. I'm over half of the way through Jedi Search and Jedi Academy trilogy. Really enjoying it, but if I remember correctly, no, it's not that I'm not a fan of the story. I'm just not a fan of KJA's writing style, or at least his editors, because the way that they paste it out, it's really weird. It's like you leave a set of characters in one chapter and you're back to those characters in the next chapter, and you haven't heard what's going on with these other guys, let's say on the Ma installation, in a long time. I think it could have had better pacing and the way that they laid out a lot of the different scenes. That's my thing with it. And a lot of his descriptive language he uses, I think it could have been a little bit more adult. But the story, I don't have a problem with it at all. I think it's pretty cool that there was this Ma installation that's been isolated, and it's Tarkin's his side chick, that's running it, and it's a Death Star that's in there. I like the whole setup and stuff. And you've got Kip Duran, and they find him by destiny, and they take him back to be trained. And Luke's starting up the academy. I love how he and Lando are like trying to find candidates for the academy, all that stuff. But the way it was actually written and stuff is what I'm not a big fan of. Because you look at Zahn's writing, he's a pretty advanced writer, right? You look at Stackpole, Alston, Stover, but then you look at someone like Barbara Hambly, not a very good, in my opinion, writer. Even her Star Trek stuff, it's just not, it doesn't flow well. So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying that. It's a good trilogy. Thanks again for the $5 though.
Are you driving with your eyes open? Are you like using the force?
see what else we got here. Let's see what else we got here. See if there's anything good.
Yes, yeah.
In Z formation. Hell no. Who you calling a bitch?
Yeah, that's about someone who told us we can't tell her what to do. So you go, girl. And then over on the Rumble side, Holy Chitful gifting 5 subscriptions. Fantastic. Thanks for doing that. We got to grow the Rumble side, guys. Thank you to Holy Chitful for doing that.
Intelligence has nothing to do with politics.
This is Space Cowboy from the planet Earth.
You guys know what air traffic control is whenever somebody tries to say, hey, someone else is streaming now. So if we ever see a douchebag doing that, let me know, because I got this clip for him right here.
Why don't you put on this 6 o'clock news, you little shit?
Monster Squad. No, thank you very much, Holy Chitful, for the 5 gifted memberships. Yeah, great movie, man. Didn't watch it this Halloween. I need to watch it now. Did enjoy the Foundation books, but you can tell Asimov declined as he wrote them, and a lot of writers do. They run out of ideas. I think a lot of them know where they're starting a story, and they don't know where to take it. You should always have a beginning, middle, and end. And then you could always have the option, right, to do more. Like JMS with Babylon 5, he knew for the series itself, the beginning, middle, and end. He finished it in season 4 because he was afraid he wasn't going to get renewed. But he made a 5th season, and it wasn't as good because I don't think he had a lot of time to come up with, okay, where do we go from here? But 1 through 4, and then, the finale was made for 4, but it wound up getting pushed to the end of 5, the series finale. Just fantastic stuff. But some of these shows, they don't know where they're going with it, and it's obvious. That's why I kind of like to wait until shows are done before I start watching them, so I know I'm going to get a full show with a satisfying ending. Yeah, make sure to smash that like button. And what Stover books have you read? Oh, I must have forgotten those. I've read them all. Dude, when Trader came out, a really good friend of mine used to work with him. And, we got families, so we didn't hang out as much as we used to. But I read it the same time he did because he was reading NJO. And it was like, and then a group online that a book club online on AOL, we'd go into like voice chat. That was a thing on AOL, believe it or not, through 56K dial-up. They had like voice chat, and we'd talk NJO books. But that book was like unlike anything we'd ever read when it came to Star Wars. So it was really popular, and I think I read it 2 or 3 times, like back to back. Like, I got to read that again. Ganner with his Lord of the Rings moment and all that stuff. And then I've got Shadows of Endor, and then Shatterpoint. And I like Shatterpoint because it's Heart of Darkness, Apocalypse Now. He's got to go find out what in the hell is going on with someone who's apparently gone rogue, right? In this case, his former apprentice. And then you get to kind of learn about that planet. And it's his writing style, and I really like Stover's writing style, so I'd recommend it. Expecting hype to be overblown because I figured it would be a retread of the movie. Ended up as my favorite Star Wars novel. Which one are you talking about? Yeah, and of course, how did I forget that? Revenge of the Sith. I don't even know how Stover was picked for that, to be honest. I probably knew at one point, but I remember him being picked, and it was like, hell yeah. And I'm always a spoiler guy. Like, before Attack of the Clones came out, I went to Barnes & Noble. The graphic novel adaptation was out, like a month before the movie. I sat there and read the whole thing. For Revenge of the Sith, I read the novelization instead of the comic adaptation. And I'm like, if this movie is anywhere close as good as this, it's going to be amazing. It wasn't as good as the book, but you could see the scenes in the movie and how Stover put his own spin on them. And plus, tying in Shatterpoint, tying in Tartakovsky Clone Wars, tying in what's the other book, Labyrinth of Evil? Tying all that shit into the movie itself was amazing. And there's a couple of lines in there that definitively prove that Ahsoka does not exist. Ahsoka is a Republic propaganda piece, and that's what the entire TCW series is. It's Republic propaganda, and it's not really what happened. That's why you have that announcer. That's why you have all these news pieces and stuff. Jedi Anakin Skywalker and his apprentice Ahsoka Tano are going to this planet. Because it's Republic propaganda. She doesn't exist. Like, that's a sensational story that, hey, this young Jedi Knight and his apprentice are out there kicking ass and all this stuff, meant to drum up support for the Republic in the Clone Wars. So that's what TCW is. You read it, the comic, first, then saw the movie, still shocked me. Palpatine office scene in the book is pure evil. Yeah, that was a great scene. Yeah. And I really like how he plays up the victimhood in the novel more than he does in the movie too. Like, he's being, discriminated against and all that stuff. Another $5 from Gabriel Knight. Favorite part of Revenge of the Sith novel was it said the Jedi were going to stage a coup. They weren't just going to overthrow Palpatine, but they were going to oust a faction of the Senate. Yeah, he gets really deep into that stuff. And again, it's in there because Lucas allowed it to be in there. And he's been saying that forever. Like, Stover's been saying that. Line item vetoed. It's not just this new annotated version coming out. He was saying that 20 years ago. Because, I mean, it's the novelization of the movie in 2005. If Lucas didn't want something in there, it wouldn't have been in there. Think about this. Like, the Empire Strikes Back comic had some of the early concept art for Yoda. That's how they based the art on him. Well, they went back in the reprints and they made him look like movie Yoda. So it's in there because Lucas was good with it being in there. And then don't forget that Disney Star Wars, Disney Lucasfilm took the novelizations and they discarded those as part of Legends, which makes no sense whatsoever. Well, it does make sense because Shatterpoint, Labyrinth of Evil, Tartakovsky Clone Wars, all in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, and they just couldn't handle that as being part of canon. Real canon. But thanks for the other 5, Gabriel Knight. Let's see here. Running out of shit.
If the dirty air don't get you, the politicians will.
Well, looky what we have here.
Thank you very much, sir. Tuscan Bob gifting 1 membership to USA. Thank you very much. Just avoid JJM books unless you want to kill yourself. What's JJM? Oh, John Jackson Miller, because Tuscan Bob, Greg Hates Everything, does not like the Kenobi novel. And honestly, I've never read that one. It's never really interested me, to be honest. Like, just the whole concept of it. I was supposed to read it for that Rhino stream several years back, and Skirmitar made this really, like, exotic intro to the whole stream, and I never got around to reading it. Greg didn't like it, and then Anna couldn't remember it. So it's like we're all sitting there, and it's like Rhino's talking about the book. So the audiobook, I should say. Yeah, that's an interesting project Justin has going on. The Expanded Universe Holocron. Make sure you follow that. I tried the Booba show is still stuck in your head. Well, what I do. That's what I do. All right. I don't think I'm missing anything else, but yeah, it's past midnight here, guys, and I'm getting tired. I got to wake up early because I want to quit early on Friday. I always try to, but there's a lot of work to get done. Watching weeds grow in the cracks of abandoned parking lot sounds like an exciting day. And don't forget, John Jackson Miller, one of the first traders, right? He wrote A New Dawn. And he had to have known months before 42514 that they were going to discard the expanded universe, because he had to write the book, right? And Rebels was announced a long time before that, but they didn't really say anything about it. So everyone could have been assuming, oh, Rebels will be like, an expanded universe show or whatever, in the same continuity. And then look at that name, A New Dawn, right? There's symbolism there. It's a new dawn. New Star Wars, new books that are not the same as the old. They did it on purpose. Absolutely. Yeah, guys, let's wrap it up. Been going, seems like longer, but just over 2 hours. We'll keep on following this situation, but horrible video, 45-minute hyena laugh video by that loser Scroop Tripper, and just made himself look like a buffoon. Peddling fake news because he is fake news, false information. Hey, look, George said this and this. Yeah, out of context. And that's not the only time he's done that. He does it in his videos. He does it in his X posts. It's like, look into what you're saying before you say it. Integrity means a lot. I mean, he might want to start doing it about castings too, and wondering why don't people like this girl being cast in a role? I don't understand. What's wrong with her Adam's apple? Like, what's wrong? Do your research first. And this is advice to everyone, not just him. Like, guys, be careful with what you say and do your research before you say it. That's the best advice I can give you. Because integrity means a lot. Accuracy means a lot. Building credibility means a lot in life. Kenobi is a novel version of what a movie about Biff Tannen's grandma's trip to the beauty salon would look like in the expanded universe. Oh man. So what he's saying, what Tuscan Bob is saying here is that he much prefers Obi-Wan Kenobi with Reva over the Kenobi novel. That's what he's saying. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll try to go next week as well. Thanksgiving 2 weeks from tonight. Probably won't do it that night, to be quite honest. But we'll see. You never know. It could get boring and, hey, let's go live. But again, thanks for being here. We will see you soon. Sub to all the channels. Adios. USA.
A lot of people make jokes about spacing somebody, about shoving somebody out an airlock. I don't think it's funny.